Hello, it's Keith here. We'll be going live in just a few minutes. Firstly, just let me tell you what are the things I'm working on. I'm going to be doing these kind of live streams every Friday morning or Thursday evening if you're in the UK, just depending on your time zone. That's a programming stream. And every weekend at 6 o'clock Japan time, which is I think 10 o'clock UK time, I'll be doing some kind of gameplay stream like this one. Now, of course, my tutorials are continuing as usual. I'm currently trying to do 3 tutorials a week. It's a bit of a challenge, but I'm still trying it. It's a lot of work, but that's what it's like. This stream, I'll be trying to do some programming. Of course, feel free to say anything you want in the chat. I try and interact a lot with the chat in these ones, so just let me know what you're interested in. I'll try and answer any questions you have if you have any. If there's no chat, I'll just be programming away. Okay, well, let's move over and start the show. And hello. So we're going to be using the Famicom today. I've got a real Famicom just here. Due to space limitations on my desk and camera here, I'm not able to show the Famicom, but I have one. It's just over here, over this direction. To turn my lights on there. There we go. Makes the Famicom look a whole lot nicer. So I've got these Famicom basic manuals that came with it. Quite lucky really, because there are apparently different versions of them. Now, just bear with me a moment, because I just want to change the settings of my phone so my phone is monitoring the live chat. So just please, there we go. It has helped me before, my phone has. So there's 2 manuals. There's this Famicom Basic one, Family Basic, sorry. Fami stands for Famicom, family of course. So this is the version that I'm using. It seems to be version 1, I guess, but online if you look on archive.org, they've got a copy of one that's version 3. Very different. It seems to have more programming commands as well. But I had a brief read over of this and checked the cartridge works and things, but nothing more than that. So we'll see what happens today. And then there's this question sheet, answer sheet. So there's some kind of quizzes. I don't really know. I have not read that. I'm not going to try that either. Of course, these are Japanese. I can read Japanese, but I am slower than English, which should be pretty obvious. But Japanese is what we're going to have to do today because that's what the system is like. Okay, so we've got the cartridge just here. You can see this. So this is the Famicom Basic cartridge. My camera looks like it's inverting the image. That's rather unfortunate. So it has a switch on it. If you look just here, there's a switch. And this is a battery backup, which I've put some batteries in. I did put some in and then I took them out because I was worried they were going to leak. Cheap batteries leak all the time. So it's got this switch, and we have to leave the switch set into off mode until the system instructs us to turn it to on. I found out quite interesting, if you turn it on when it doesn't tell you and then look at the memory of if you do a listing of your program, it shows complete garbage. So it's obviously switching out some internal memory in the cartridge, I guess, when you do that. So we have to do that in the right order. Another quite curious thing is, if we try and turn on Family Basic without the keyboard, it just shows a black screen. I tried cleaning the cartridge about 20 times before I figured that out. It doesn't show, you plug the keyboard in, you're full. It just shows nothing. So there we go. So what I'm going to be doing here, I'll leave the keyboard on my lap for convenience there. We're going to have the manuals over here. I'm going to plug the keyboard in and I'm going to type on my lap, and so you'll be seeing the manuals as we go through things, because I'm going to have to look them up a few times because I don't know a whole lot about this system. And I've got the keyboard out of screen, and the Famicom is just over here as well, just to the side. So you can see here we have Famicom working here. So it shows a bunch of junk there. Now it's asking me who I am. I don't know why it does this. You would think maybe it's something to do with saves, but I don't think it is. So I'm just going to call myself K. Understood. You are K-san. Okay. Starting operations. Do we want Game Basic? And we've got these function keys, yes and no. Now, if we say no, it's going to offer us a different option. This is like the worst menu ever. I believe if we type in certain short commands, it will jump straight to one of the other options, but we're going to say yes for starters. The other options are, there's some kind of tile editor for editing backgrounds, and there's also some kind of music program. So So we're going to say yes here. And we are starting Game Basic here. So we've got basic and background graphics now. I don't know why we've got a sub menu here after all that nonsense at the start, but we'll press 1 for basic. And we have a massive 1982 bytes free. So if we do a list here, we've got nothing. So 10 print hello world. Run. So now, surprisingly, I mean, there's a lot of very custom commands in this with regards to hardware sprites and things, but surprisingly, the sort of bog basics of it are very, very traditional. You know, I was sort of expecting a bit of a nightmare. You know, I was expecting it to play me about something chronic, but it doesn't actually. So if we do input a string, where's that string symbol? Here we go. So, and then if we do shift and do print a string. So yeah, it's all pretty similar to what you would usually expect. So there's some weird commands. There's this like really crazy go sub command which allows you to jump to multiple locations depending on a variable. But generally speaking, it's all pretty typical. So not as surprising as you might think. Now let's just have a quick flick through the Famicom basic manual here. Got to work out how to do things a little logistically here, because the keyboard, the Famicom, they were obviously trying to save money on cables. Well, that's my theory anyway, because all the cables are horribly short. So I want to look up the randomized command here. Let's move the lights around a little bit. So let's have a look. We've got a chart of the sprites and the bitmap graphics here. There seems to be two possible options here. So these are sort of hardware sprite options, and it's offering to make 16 by 16 sprites out of 4 separate blocks, and it actually refers to them as characters within here. So what I want to do is look at Rand. So Rand's at page 82 here. Now what I've often done in the past, and what I'm going to do today, is I'm going to try and make a number guess program. This is a very simple game. I've written it on calculators and all kinds of computers in the past. The computer will pick a number between 0 and 100. The user has to guess the number, and the computer says, oh, you're too high and too low, and it keeps going until the user guesses the correct number. So it's just a very simple game that's very easy to program on a relatively simple system. So we give it a number between 1 and 32767. Okay, so let's try that out. I think it's only going to return integers, which is relatively unconventional for BASIC, but completely understandable for the computer here. So is my volume level all right? If my volume level's too low, if someone can let me know. So if we go just do a backspace here, where's the best backspace here? It's all the way over there. Okay, it's rather odd position for the backspace, but so if we do print random 100. Mistyped there, didn't I? $99, okay. So see what kind of numbers are coming out. So yeah, they look pretty random, and I can stop this somehow. I've got a stop button. Okay. Now one quite cute thing about this is there is a kana button. Now kana is the Japanese symbol set for sort of simple typing. So if we can now do the basic Kana. Now kanji is far more complicated. Kana only has 48 symbols, whereas kanji is thousands of the rotten things. So they can't do kanji on a Famicom system. Occasionally they knock in the odd character. This has got a yen symbol. Maybe sometimes you get the symbol for tree and human and things, but I don't think this one has any. At least it's not showing any on this keyboard. But as I say, so it's quite a cute little feature. But it did catch me out at first because I turned it on without knowing how and didn't know how to turn it off. So it was a little bit tricky. But anyway, now the Famicom Basic machine can connect to a cassette tape, and there is an official cassette system for it. I'm not going to do that today. I don't want to start getting into the problems of analog cassettes and messing around with volume levels. So if the machine crashes because of cable length, I pull out the power plug by accident, we'll lose the work, then we're going to just have to start again. So we're definitely not going to be producing anything particularly spectacular today, because a few hours of streaming, just learning things, and as I say, even if we achieve a masterpiece, it's all going to get lost. So there we go. That's the kind of way we're going to be working today. So 10G equals rand. Okay. I'm not quite sure how I edit an old line here. It didn't seem to work when I typed over the top of it, but oh, it did. It does work. Okay. When I did that print command earlier, it didn't seem to work. So we're selecting a random number here between 0 and 100, and then our next line will be print. Keyboard's slightly, I'm mistyping because the keys are in the wrong places, so I'm looking at the screen and I'm pressing the wrong keys. Guess my number. Where's the quote? There it is. I'm just going to turn the volume down of the Famicom a bit. There's a lot of interference comes off this machine because it's so old. It's a bit noisy on the analog capture, so we just turn it down a little bit. So there we go. Guess my number. 30. Input A. If A is less than G, then print ping, print too low. If A is greater than G, then go to, then, no, go to print to I. If A equals G, then go to 100, and we'll do 90, go to 30, and 100 will print you win. Where's my Y? You win. Oh, I've got an insert key. You win. There we go. So let's just check that out. So we've got a loop. We're reading in from A. We're checking if they're lower or higher and returning the message accordingly. And when they get it right, we print you win. So if we run this, 1 CLS. There we go. Guess my number. So it's very easy. The best way to play this game is obviously just to pick the middle number and then pick the middle again and again and again until we find the result. There's no real skill to this, but as I say, it's a great little thing to start off with. Oh, UL error in 90. What's a UL error? Unknown line. Oh, that's a letter. That's an O, not a 0, I think. Okay. Too low, 75. Too high, 60. Too high, 55. Too low, 57. You win. There we go. So that's how we do it. That's the basics of number guess. So a very simple game. So what we'll do next is we'll just add an extra. Now I'm guessing. Let's just test it. Turn equals 1. Print T. Oh, okay. I was expecting the variables to be limited to just a single letter or something like that, but it looks like it's doing pretty well there. That's quite nice. So what we'll do now is if we go to number 5, we do T equals 1. So T is going to be our turns, and then if we go to 85, T equals T plus 1. So, and then if we go to 110 and do print you took, and then I think we can do a comma here, T comma turns. I think maybe that's right. It might be semicolon. Oh, okay. Well, it does work, but that looks very, very ugly. So I wish I hadn't done that. So if we do this, do a good old semicolon instead. You took, oh, okay, so still not right there. T turns. Now, I suppose interestingly, we've got the Japanese kana, but we've got no lowercase, which makes sense if you actually look at a character map that contains both English and Japanese. 256 characters is just gone in no time. Technically speaking, Japanese should have hiragana for the Japanese words and katakana for the non-native words. So English words that are converted to Japanese should be in katakana, and hiragana should just be for the Japanese native words. But we don't even have hiragana on here, and that's why I often find it very hard to read Japanese games on the Famicom, because hiragana is easier to read, just partially because of more frequent use and partially because the symbols are just generally a nicer, smoother shape, whereas the katakana is quite harsh and some of them look quite similar. So that's something that I do find difficult. And actually, as a foreigner in Japan, I prefer games that use full kanji to games that use hiragana, because I can read kanji to an almost complete extent, and it's easier for me to know what a word means from the kanji than it is to read the hiragana and then try and work out in my head what the word means. Because if you've never seen the word before in Japanese, but you can see the kanji, you can work out what the meaning is from the meaning of the component kanji, whereas in hiragana you've just got a bunch of phonetics that could mean anything. So that's something that you may not be aware of if you're not familiar with Japanese and no experience of learning it. So anyway, that's just a bit of 75. Too low. Oh, at least the random number generation is working. Too high, 80. Too low, 85. Too low, 87. Too low, 89. Too high, 88 then. 8 turns. There we go, 8 turns. So that's working okay. So let's just put this to one side now for a moment, and let's have a look at our manual here. I just want to see what options we've got. Do we have any colour options? Do we have a pen? No. Colour? Colour. Let's have a look at this colour option, 70. Cute little animations here, I like it. Now interestingly, I said there was this alternate version on archive.org. That is actually in 2 colour throughout the bulk of the manual, but the first few pages of mine are in colour, and I don't think that version has any colour pages. It does also seem to mention a lot of extra commands that I don't have, I think, so I suspect they actually heavily upgraded the Famicom Basic when they released that new version. So we've got background, so we're specifying an X and a Y location and a colour. Okay, that's not very helpful. So we would have to literally like fill individual blocks with colours. Okay. Apologise, my mic's probably a little bit low because I'm not in the right position here. I'm having a bit of trouble with the position of all of my hardware here. I've got laptops and monitors and cameras and all kinds of things all over the place. So, has it got any other mentions of it? What's this? Okay, so this CGN is selecting the layering, I think, between the sprites and the background, so that's not what we want. So print 50, and it says we can use question mark if we want, or P. Okay, there are some nice abbreviations in this that are, the for loops have some nice abbreviations I noticed as well, so what I really want is a way of changing the colour of all the following, and I've just realised why it's not on offer. I've just realised why it can't do that. Okay, I'm looking for a command that isn't actually possible. What I wanted to do was change the colour of individual letters, but remembering back to the programming of the Famicom, you set the colours in a 16 by 16 square, so it's impossible for the Famicom to set individual 8 by 8 colours if we can only define them in 16 by 16 blocks. So that's probably why. Okay, so what can we do here then? Let's think. Right, well, what we'll do is we'll put in a 200 of end, and then we're going to put 300 for, I nearly typed in it, I'm getting so used to programming C, I nearly to put 4 into X there, that's not good, 4, this keyboard, the keys are kind of small, for X equals 1 to, how big's the screen? Is it 32? Let's have a look. See if you've got any documentation on it. Okay, so it seems to say here it's 26 by 23, so that's what we're going to be working with, and it starts from 0. Okay, Y, equals 0 to 23. And our command is x, y, n. And n can be 0 to 3 because we're basically a 4 colour per tile system here. Colour x, y, c, 330, and then next x, and then 340, next y, 350, return. Don't know if you can hear that. I can hear a baby crying outside or something. There's a major tantrum going on. I just hope this isn't critique of my live stream here. Could be, I suppose. It'd be valid critique, I think. C equals 2. Go sub 300. Syntax error in. Syntax error. $330, okay. I don't know why the cursor position's changed. I didn't expect the color command to change the cursor position. Okay, so the next command, let's have a look at this next command then. Maybe it works differently. Four to 65. Okay, so it seems it's going to, I mean the example shows some nesting, so it does seem to be possible, but it seems we don't have to actually specify the label, which I thought I was going to be making its life easier by doing that, but it seems like it doesn't want me to. It seems like it wants a challenge, I guess. Let's give it a challenge. So next. Stop button's in the wrong place. Go sub 300. Okay, I don't know what went wrong there. Print X, print Y. Good God, is it really that slow? So let's do C equals 1. Go sub 300. I can't see any color change. So unless this has no effect on text, I don't know how the text must be some kind of tiles, but and it did return, so let's reread it. Color 70. So the X can be 0 to 27, the Y can be 0 to 23, and the N can be 0 to 3. mean, it says background graphics. So unless it just doesn't consider text to be background graphics. Okay, I don't quite understand that. Okay, let's try something else instead. A bit confused by that. Oh, that text. Sorry, let me just. I didn't realise that that's backwards. Let me fix that camera for a moment then. So if I just go to transform here, edit transform. And then I just need to move it into the right position. That's better. Sorry about that. Never looking at the screen, I hadn't realised it was not going to be very legible there. So let's move the keyboard out of the way and let's have a look at this manual. Let's see if we can work out how to do some background graphics. So we've got two character block options here. This is B and this is A. Now the thing that surprises me is these seem to use up all 255. So I guess they're using bank switching to get around that for the background, but where are the letter keys? So we'll just start a new program here just briefly. So if I CLS, if I do 500 and 4y equals 1 to 2. Where did all my typing go there? Print I semicolon CHR string I colon next. And I'll give it its due though, the keyboard seems to be in, oh no, that was wrong. Okay, so we've got traditional ASCII here, which is a surprise. Some of the systems don't use traditional ASCII. There's the Japanese symbols coming in, and you can see just how much of the character set they're using up there. And there we've got some symbol blocks. No, it's not those. And I don't think it's these either. It's not those either. So that's surprising. It's very surprising. Oh, okay. Well, like I say, I knew there was something going on because the fact. Oh, these are. I recognise these. Those are the ones I'm seeing on screen there. So, what commands do we have? CG enable. Let's have a look at that. Oh, okay. So that's actually selecting the bank. So I thought it was layering, but it's actually selecting the graphics bank. So that's defining the color set. How do we actually draw background graphics to the screen then? do we have to define an entire background? What's this view command? So that's saying it's going to copy the view. Let's try this view command and see what it does. Okay, I was expecting something a bit more exciting than that. Okay, let's go back to the front then, and let's see if we can find any examples on how to use the backgrounds. So we've got a calculator board here, which seems to be some kind of, you know, well, I guess it's just basic really, running and acting as a calculator. Message board, which it's saying you can leave a message to your mum. Seems absolutely ridiculous. It's going to tell our fortune here, so the computer's obviously getting into rip-off fortune telling. There's a lot of fortune telling in Japan, I don't know why. So we've got a music board here. It doesn't look very easy to use, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but background graphics, here we go. So, okay, so it's saying if we draw the background graphics and then we use the view command, it'll put the background graphics in. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm game if it is. So how do we get the menu up? Is it menu? System. Background graphics. Okay. So we got this thing here. So we're able to select a palette with the Enter key. I don't know how we browse through our tile set here though. Let's just have a look. Select. Copy, move, clear, file, and char. Select, copy, move, up, down, left and right, delete, insert, shift. My lights is flickering out here. I don't know if it's battery's flat or it's just bad connection. See del and ins we can move through, it says here, so let's try that. Well yeah, but how do we see the rest of them? We can't do anything very much with that. So shift and clear home. Says the first background graphics mode is select, and if we press shift and clear home, we can select from the 8 groups, insert and delete. And will let us, okay. space will draw it. Okay. This seems very basic. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what to make of this. Okay. How do we actually... If I press F1, we change colours here. How do I actually get back to the menus? If I press escape, the Famicom menu appears. Okay. It does indeed. So we've got select, copy, move, clear, file. Okay, no, that's a mistake. That's going to be saving to an actual cassette. I thought, okay, that was a big mistake. How do I stop it? So it doesn't have an activity wire, it only has an in and out, so I assume it thinks it's writing to a cassette at the moment. Well, I'm not going to wait for that, so let's reset and let's start again. So my name's Moo this time. I am Moo. Okay. That means my Canna key is set still. So let's say yes. I don't know what all these ridiculous things are all about. It's still got our programming memory even though I've reset those, so that's quite it's quite decent of it. So if I go to System and that's gone. Okay. So here we're able to put characters in with our graphics, which makes sense. Which sort of makes sense, but as I say, I don't understand how they're going to. I don't understand why I only have a very small selection of this set here. As I say, I understand that the system has a very tight limit of the number of tiles it can select from, but I was assuming, being as we've got this whole range here, that there would be some way to use them, but I can't find what it is. Knocking my coloured lights off there. Okay, so if I just do escape here. So how do I get back to the main menu? That's my question. Clearly should have read in more detail, I guess. So this is rather surprisingly hard to use, really. So this is talking about the hardware sprites and how to move them, because it can do scripted movements, so you can tell it what direction you want a sprite to move in, and it will automatically move in that direction, which seems surprising, but that's what it can do. It's just they've got save and load. Select from the function menu, it says here. So these are relating to the select, copy and move command. I can't see where it says how to get back to the main menu though. Back to the main program. It's very frustrating. And maybe just being a complete idiot about this, but so we just pressed the stop key there and that did it. That was quite convenient. So if we now go to basic, type this view command, then it loads up our background that we drew in there. Okay. So that's how that works then. Now, still don't understand, pulling the headphones out there, still don't understand why we only have a limited set of characters. Oh, there's a CG set command here. Okay, we did see that before, didn't we? So this is how to define sprites and move them. I understand that. What I don't understand is why we've got such a tiny selection of character blocks here. Joystick reading. Interestingly, it's using bit numbers here. So you've got 1, 2, 4 and 8 for our directions. And unlike most basics, I think this can do AND statements, binary level AND statements, which is very impressive. So that's something I did notice. I was very impressed by. So we've got moving character there. So it's talking about the layers here. Okay, so in here it's talking about being able to scroll the visible area here. Music. Who would want to type all that in? Background graphics. Okay, so we've got more details here then. Okay, so it says here so it says again in clear home and shift key with clear home. Okay. So back into. Oh, okay, yeah, it is changing them. And now it's stopped changing them. Oh, okay, so clear and home goes forwards and shift clear home goes backwards to the list then. Okay, so that's okay, so that makes sense then. Let's just have a look. If I'll just take this book away. Okay, so I guess this is the entire set of background graphics that are on offer to us, and then I misunderstood. I thought it was two possible banks, but it isn't. These are the possible sprites we can use, and these are the possible backgrounds we can use, which makes perfect sense thinking about it. So we are limited to these for our backgrounds, and then it's got the options on the colours here. Okay. So let's just try and draw something a bit less ugly here. Can't even work out what all of this stuff is here. So if I do this, right, okay. How do I actually delete? I suppose we can go to character here. I'll do it. Hello. So there we go. So that was escape and stop there to get back to this menu here. And then if I go to basic and do view, there we get our hello message. So that's how we can load a background in. So I guess we've only got one possible background that we can store. It's got to be using a fair amount of memory. Now, how do we scroll it? There seem to be some options relating to scrolling. I just saw there. So let's get that back and have a look at those. So this is more details on the editor here. More details on the editor. fix your tape drive. Let's have a look. So presumably there's some kind of background scroll. XPOS and YPOS, let's have a look at those. What's those? Position. Okay, this is relating to sprites. This is relating to sprites as well. What I'm interested in is how to scroll the background. '79. Let's look at this view command again. Okay, so it doesn't seem to describe any kind of scrolling options. I thought I saw something about scrolling before, so I thought there would be some somewhere. Let's just go back and have another look. And that's talking about Mario. So what's this saying? It's saying this is the normal backdrop screen, and it's saying about one of the colours being transparent. Okay, so maybe I'm just misunderstanding. Maybe this is just telling you about the centering of the background screen in the visible area then. So we've got these move and position options, but these are relating to sprites here. Okay. That's a bit of a shame. I suppose we could. I was assuming we'd be able to scroll the background somehow, but maybe we can't. It's a shame. Right, okay, well anyway, let's try these sprite options next then. Let's have a go at this then. The way this function works is very strange here. So let's do sprite on. Keep nearly typing at my PC rather than the Famicom. So I guess that means sprites are on now. And then if we do sprite zero comma bear with me, I just need to have a look at the sprite command here. Okay, so we've got this def sprite command, and I don't like the way they've used these parameters A, B, C, D, E. They should have used X, Y and things that made more sense. So we can select our a colour, a size, background layering, X and Y. Okay. So let's use colour 0, let's use the size as 16. Def sprite. So I think one is foreground here, and an X and a Y. Let's do 50, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then, rather bafflingly, I believe we need to do some character numbers, and the character numbers will be relating to these. So if we want to do this fishy guy here, I think that's is that a fish? I'm not sure what it is. 88 to 91. CHR string T9. Just double checking, I did have to type CHR string plus CHR string. I do have to say at this point I am actually finding this harder than programming assembly, but plus CHR string 91. Let's have a look at this example. Oh, okay. I've missed a parameter. There's an extra one. I need to give it a sprite number here. So yeah, so I need to give it a sprite number for up to 8. So give it ill error. Okay, what's that mean? Do we have a list of error codes? That's quite nice. Illegal function call. Okay. So let's change this from 50 to 50. Let's have another look. Def sprite is sorry, it's got 8 sprites, but the 8th, it's 0 to 7. So that was me being dumb. And there it is, but it's almost off the screen, which is why I did 50 to 50 to start with. Oh, hang on a minute. No, I'm misunderstanding. X and Y aren't a position; they're a flipping. So we just don't give a 0 or 1 here. So if we give these 0, so that's our sprite defined. And then what we need to do is we need to move that sprite. So that's where our move command comes in. Where is it? Where's our move command? $75. Oh my word. Okay, no, that's for animation. So we want to use the pos X and the pos Y. I think they're going to be used if we just want to position rather than do the automated thing. Xpos 76. So if we do xpos 0 equals 55, is this only readable? Okay, so I think it's this position command we want to use instead. So let's try that. Oh, damn it. It's not working either. This is really quite annoying. So def move 0 equals, and then our sprite but those aren't the same parameters for the sprite. So move is these definitions here, it seems. So 1 is up, 2 is right, is upright, 3 is right, blah blah blah, and 0 is static. So if we do def move 0 equals sprite 0, is that right? No, it's not right. Okay, so no, that's not right. So God, this is complicated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 parameters. The first one is the sprite number. The second one is the move. I just want it to be static. I don't want it moving around. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Right, it's not moved anywhere. got this example here, but it's not even setting a position to my understanding, so I don't know how that works. Banging the Famicom there. Okay, so we've got, it says here sprite 0, x, y. I haven't. Oh, I think I've crashed it. I banged the Famicom and it's crashed. Okay. What all this delay is, I have half a mind that maybe it's trying to read the, because it's got the built-in microphone in the Famicom, and I'm not entirely sure that it's not trying to read things from that as well. But it's never going to understand my accent in Japanese if it is, so there's no way I'm trying that. So, oh, we lost our program that time. Okay, so let's try this. So sprite on, sprite 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, God, what was those commands? I think we needed to set that one to 1, and maybe that one as well. The first one was the palette. I think the second one was the size. The third one was the layering, and the fourth and fifth were the X and Y flip. And we need to do def sprite, don't we? I'm wondering if this is really confused by what these commands are doing here. I mean, we seem to be setting the bitmap options here, so maybe if I don't do this, maybe it's already got some default ones, because the example code in there often doesn't do this, and TM error. Okay, I can see there's a bracket missing there. What a pain this is. Okay, and then we've got this thing here that it's saying it's just using the command sprite. The same command seems to have loads and loads of different syntaxes. Okay, so there we go. So we can just move it with the sprite command. So that's what I was trying to do all along. So let's try and get my that fish thing back, or whatever it is. Maybe it's a bomb or something. So that's 8 characters, 88 onwards. I do have to say, I mean, I'm finding this a little bit frustrating just from lack of experience, but I do have to say I'm very impressed with Nintendo for releasing a product like this. I do think, you know, the Famicom and even the Super Famicom as well, they both had a very, oh, it's moved again, a very wide range of the peripherals that came out for them. So now we've got our fish or whatever it is there, and we can change its colour with this option here. Keeps moving. There he is. It's a different colour. So as I say, I'm very impressed with the range of peripherals they did release. They released a thing to connect the Super Famicom to a satellite system or something, so you could use it for some kind of online functionality. And as I say, there's all kinds of things that were released for it that never released outside of Japan. But I do think it's nice that they released programming tools for what was originally a game system, because you know, it gives kids the opportunity to get some kind of experience of programming and things which they possibly wouldn't have got otherwise. So it's nice to have those kind of things, just to let people have a chance at some educational purposes. That flying penguin thing reminds me of Parodius. I don't know, I assume it's coincidence. I think Parodius came out long after the Famicom. But, so we just about managed to get a sprite on the screen, and one presumes if I scroll the screen now, yeah, the sprite stays where it is. So that's what we would expect there. So let's have a go. We've got these S-trig commands and these joystick commands. Stick 86. So we've got this stick and this strig command, and the S-trig is the trigger and stick is the stick. Joystick, of course, joypad. So we've got a 0. We've got two options, 0 or 1. It says just here. So we've got two joysticks obviously on the system. So if we do 10, print stick 0. Oh, my brackets are a bit out there. It's not so good. Stick 0, semicolon, strig 0, semicolon, and then if we do 20, we do the same for 1, and then 30, print, then 40, okay, now I've got to make sure I don't knock the Famicom again or I'll lose my work again. So if I press up here, you can see 8, 4, 2, 1, and I've got the fire buttons and the select and the start here. Okay, and then if I get Famicom pad 2, and I'm getting some nasty interference here. Oh. Hello. It's actually the microphone's actually running through. I didn't realise it was going to do that. So that's why there was some interference there. So up, down, left, right, fire 1, fire 2. So yeah, we can read both joypads really easily there. Now let's break out of that. Where's my fish sprite gone again? Did it reset when I ran? Very disappointing. Oh, missing my fish sprite. Okay, anyway, so now what I'm going to try now is I want to try doing some AND conditions, because as I say, I saw somewhere in this documentation it implied that it could actually do bit level logical operations, which is of course I think it was just, let's just try it. Print 255 and 8. 8. Print 128 and 8. 0. So there we go. So very, very straightforward there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to do 10 C equals stick so we're going to read in the controller from stick 0 here, and then 20 we're going to do if C and let's get, so I actually need to look at my organisation here. Actually, I think it was up, right, down, left. I think it was bit 0. C and 1. Then print U. If C and 2, then print R. 30 go to 10. Okay, I've obviously got that wrong. Let's look at the manual again. Stick number 86. Okay, I was completely wrong there then. So right is 1. Okay. Oh, okay, where did my... I've obviously made a mistake over typing there. So R, and then... So 2 is left, 4 is down, and 8 is up, okay. So I'm just repeatedly overtyping this, just making 4 different versions that print the directions on the screen. And hopefully that's worked. So if I now do a list, we've got these 4 versions there. And if we go to 100 and then you go to 10, up, down, left, right. So there we go. So now we're reading in our cursors here. List. Now, shockingly poor planning has left me with no starting space there, so we'll do an 1000 here and do sprite on. And then 1010 we'll do def sprite 0, comma, open brackets, 0, 1. Well, no, let's use colour 2 this time. 16 foreground 0, 0 equals CHR string 88 plus CHR string think I've done that right. So that should turn our sprite on. Except it doesn't. Sprite, def sprite. There's a bracket missing just here. Keyboard sticking very slightly, but I can forgive it for that. I didn't pay. Actually, the Famicom machine, the Famicom basic machines that I'm using here, are very, very cheap still. There's a one for sale near where I live, and I think it's only about $100, and it's boxed, mint condition. The one I bought is not boxed. All I've got is the manuals and the keyboard unit and things. So and it was, I think, 4,000 yen, but I bought it a few years ago now. Okay, I can see my fish in the corner there. So if we do go sub 1,000 now for line 1, and then at line 2 we'll do x equals 50, y x equals 50 colon y equals 50, and then list that 60 sprite. What on earth am I typing there? I'm blaming the size of these keys. They were designed for people with very small hands, almost as if it's intended for use by children or something. I don't understand it. X comma Y. I keep pressing shift to try and do things in capitals, but there are no capitals, so when I press shift and a letter it doesn't type anything. So that's why occasionally a key's being missed, even though you're hearing stuff. It's just me being a complete fool. So we've got our fish now there. Okay, so stop that, and 3 CLS. There we go. Okay. And now if we do, what we're going to do then is we're going to change these print statements, and we're going to alter X obviously, so that the joystick will move the fish thing around. X equals X plus 1. I'm assuming it's not really a fish. I'm not sure what it... Oh. X. There's the wrong key there. Plus 1. It's marked as delete and it's next to insert, so I was expecting it to delete the other direction for some reason there. X equals X minus 1. Y equals y equals y plus 1. And then y equals y minus 1. Doing it again. But yeah, I mean, this keyboard's in remarkable condition, considering it's probably about 30 plus years old. So odd key's is misfiring, but oh, I've missed one. But our fish is moving. We have fishy movement. I missed one. How did I miss that? Hang on a minute. Oh, I think it's crashed. It's crashed. If I'm lucky, we won't have lost the program here, because it'd be a tragedy if my fish moving program was lost from the world, wouldn't it? People would be crying in the streets over that, I'm sure. Okay, understood. Give you the nicer, more interesting view of that to look at. Oh no, it's gone. Fish program has gone. Oh dear. It seems like maybe these old computers aren't the best thing to be doing your life's work of programming on then. Okay. Well, I'm bored of playing with sprites, and I'm bored of playing with the joypad anyway, so let's have a play and see what sound options we've got then. Beep. Beep command, is it? Sounds a bit anticlimactic. So we've got a beep command which just beeps, and we've got a play command. Oh my word, I've never understood these play commands. I was hoping for a nice just pitch command where I could just give it a number. What did I expect? Very underwhelming there, that beep. Tempo. Good God. Okay, well, I would say I really just wanted to be able to give it numbers and have it play different beeping sounds, but it seems like that's not an option. So we've got this play command. So instead, because I don't want to go through fumbling around with silly play commands, let's instead go back to the main menu and let's have a go with this music composer thing that it was threatening us with earlier. So let's have a look here. So here's our list of commands here. So we've got hello, Ohio, which is good morning, continue, good evening. This is useless. Away, which is finish. Cal, here we go. Calculator MUS dot. It seems to be implying if we type that on this menu, it's going to go straight to the music player, because otherwise we have to keep saying no and yes. It says, oh, do you want the music player? Yeah. It says, oh, do you want basic? You say no. Do you want calendar? No. Do you want me to do a tap dance? And you say no, and eventually you get to the thing you want. So we'll try that instead then. So how do we get back to the main menu again? Oh, system, isn't it? Exit. Okay. So MU. Oh yeah, blah 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 blah. Oh, why can't I type? Why are you torturing me with this katakana gibberish? MUS dot. Okay, it's understood. Okay is understood. Oh, I've typed as my name. Why is it asking me my name again? Game basic. Muse dot. We okay. It says understood. Music. Yeah. Get on with it. Okay. So we have this exciting thing here. So do re mi fa la. Do re mi fa la shi. Okay. So la shi. Okay. It seems like so. I like the way the little quill wibbles around. That's is that Boo? So so the dollar symbol says Kurikaishi. I don't know why the oh, okay. Ah, didn't mean to do that. Okay, so let's get it back up again. There we go. So if we press F8, it plays our music. So how do I make it stop then? Okay, clear home again. Okay. And so if I press delete. Yeah, okay. So I mean, if you look, I won't move the keyboard because it's going to crash again. But if you look, the ins and delete key are just above the keypad, so they seem to be quite high priority keys, shall we say? Because I was thinking, well, maybe it will be the stop key or something, but it does always seem to be those keys that do all of the things, even though they don't often particularly feel very logical in places. So if I press ins and delete, I can move this along here, and then I've got 3 tones, I guess, here. And we've got 3 pitches here, different ones there. Let's just have a look at, I'll just move them over just briefly, and we'll have a look at what other options we've got. Okay, so we're defining our music here. But how do we actually use the result? I mean, I assume we can use the result, can't we? My camera there, sorry about that. So we've got all this stuff about how to, we've got defining the music here, we've got it's talking about the pitches here, it's talking about the repeat mark, although I've not seen how to draw that repeat mark, but I don't really care about that at this moment. Okay, so we press Shift and F8 to put the dollar symbol, not the dollar key, obviously, that'd be far too easy. And then how do we play the music? How do we play it? It's got this play command, line at page 80. you're not telling me we can't. I think this is just some silly bonus. I don't think it actually links into BASIC, at least in this version. I can't see anything about it. You thought it would say, oh well, if you want to play the saved one, do this, or if you want to transfer the completed composition, do something else, but I can't see it. So I'm just wondering if I did notice that the version 3 BASIC did have a lot more options and things, so maybe that's something they didn't do very well. But, I mean, it's like this thing of the names, it asks you what your name is when it starts up, but it doesn't seem to make any difference at all. It's not like it's storing multiple programs with different users with different names. It just seems to be some kind of lousy gimmick. Okay, well, I'd say the impression I'm getting is that we're not going to be able to play this song in BASIC, I don't think. I mean, that would explain why the background editor is in the game BASIC menu and this music composer isn't, because, as I say, it seems like maybe we can't transfer them across. So what I'm going to do now then, I'm kind of getting rapidly bored of this, but I'm not finished yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just have a flick through and see if there's any interesting commands that I think deserve some attention. So let's just get this. Kind of torn between being in the right position for the microphone and being in the right position for the secondary camera here, so I think we'll prioritise the secondary camera though. Look okay. So clear, let's fill clear addresses, list, continue, load, save, run, print. I'll tell you one thing I'm going to try. Got a line input command here, dim. It can do multi-dimensional arrays. It seems very impressive for you know, you'd expect it to be quite crude, and I mean, apart from the integer mathematics, it does seem to be a lot better than I would have expected it to be. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and do something a bit mischievous. There's a peek and a poke command. Back to BASIC. Message board. No, I don't want message board. Game BASIC. Yes, yes. Why they couldn't just have a function key to do all this and say, or a menu that you select one from. So let's do print peak. Okay, it seems to be going for it. I mean, it's peaking from memory address, low memory 0 to 255 are the 0 page on a 6502 base processor. So they're very important memory addresses. And I thought it was going to tell me, oi, you can't do that. You know, you're out of line doing that. So for I equals 1 equals 0 to 255. So I'm not sure if it's literally going to peak the addresses I'm typing in, or if there's some mapping to say these areas are protected. I mean, these values won't have any meaning unless you know what the areas of the 0 page are doing. But say the sheer randomness of if it looks like they're legitimate, you know. So what I'm going to do now is do poke. This is gonna crash. Poke I, comma 3 or 4, whatever. Any random value will do. Yeah, I've just wiped my own program. I expected that to happen. But I'm very impressed that it's letting us access real data. I mean, in theory, maybe we could make, if we poked the graphics hardware addresses, maybe we could get the graphics hardware to do some strange things. Yeah, very weird. Anyway, just for a laugh, let's I'll show you this battery backup switch. If I turn the battery backup on switch down now and I do a list again. Oh, actually, it's not done it this time. Last time when I did that, it was showing all kinds of rubbish. Maybe for whatever reason, it seems to be cleared this time. Okay. Anyway, so I was quite interested by that peek and poke command. They seem to be very powerful. So again, they do seem to have really gone beyond what I would expect for, you know, such a simple system. I've got a swap command here. I don't know why. So we can swap two variables over. The Game Boy has an assembly swap command as well. I'm sure that's pure coincidence. We've got read, data, restore, classic commands there. It says areas 7000 to 703 are used by the system, so don't write to those, please. It says don't, but it doesn't say you can't. So again, quite interesting there. This cut command here. That seems to be for stopping movement. Okay, so key. Okay. So we can define function keys here. Okay, it's quite interesting. And we can see the function keys with this key list command. Pause, just a pause. Nothing very interesting. View, we've seen that. Beep, play. Absolute, sign, random numbers, ASCII, characters and value, string, str, that's for, I'll convert it into a string, yeah. Hexadecimal, left, right, mid, length, peak, pause, pause. It's returning the position of the cursor, I think. Weird. Free memory, sticks, triggers, cursor line. Okay, so pause is returning the X position and cursor lines returning the Y position, it seems. So skr is returning a character from the screen or the background character. So this is our kind of reading. Some in key for key reading, these weird sprite commands. Okay. So I mean that's really, I think we've really been over everything there. So it's quite an interesting system. Apart from the crashes, which, as I say, I can fully attribute to me being a bit rough with it and its age, you know. But apart from that, it's very satisfactory system for someone who's looking to sort of just have a bit of fun coding. And as I say, I can't comment on how much it cost at the time compared to something like the MSX, but you know, if you were a kid and you were given this and this was all you had, I think you could have some fun with it and do some really educational stuff with it. Assuming the cassette system works okay, yeah, I say that would be very good as well. So I'm going to nearly call it a day now. I've really achieved all I can, at least with it crashing all the time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do 10 print thanks for watching exclamation mark. Oh, OM error. What went wrong there? I've trashed the memory, haven't I? Okay, that was me. I think I've ruined the operating system by writing all that data to the 0 page, which fully understand. Can't blame it for that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to test the backup battery memory. I've tried it before, it did work. So the switch is currently set to off. And so what I can do now is say, yes, I want to use Game Basic. And if I go to Basic here and do 10 print quote thanks for watching exclamation mark, and that's now in memory. And then if I go to system and do end, and then we get this rotten thing up and it's announcing it's the Famicom compute again. It's asking me who I am again. I don't know why. It seems to have amnesia or something, the Famicom today. I can't remember who I am 10 seconds afterwards. Okay, so basic Nishimaska, and then I say F4 Owari end Wakarimashita. And it's saying turn the switch on. And I think that's done it. So now if I switch off the Famicom, and I'll even take the cartridge out and put the cartridge back in and turn it back on. Okay. Now it's asking me to turn the switch off. I've done that. And it's asking me who I am, so I am bored. Am I bored? Yes, I am bored. I'm bored of being asked stupid questions by the Famicom. Do I want to use the Famicom Basic? Well, funnily enough, I put Famicom Basic in. It's likely I do, so yes. I suspect maybe this is the thing they improved with the version 3. Maybe they got rid of all this rubbish and put some proper menus in. So I can't really imagine anyone's going to be enjoying talking to Famicom Basic. And you can see our program is still in memory, even though we've removed the cartridge even and plugged it back in. So the backup battery does work great. So if I do run, thanks for watching. Okay, and that's going to be it then. Now, of course, the backup battery, it actually uses AAA batteries, which is a pleasant is it AA? It's AA. So it actually uses a pair of AA batteries here, which is a pleasant surprise because I'm sure if it was some kind of lithium battery, it would have long since died. But it works very nicely. So anyway, I'm going to be calling it a day now. I've had some fun with Famicom Basic, but I think there's nothing really else I'm going to achieve here. I hope you found this interesting. There's some versions online, and I think someone's actually translated the manual. You could probably muddle through most of it just by guesswork, though, if you were feeling particularly lazy, because I've not really been making much effort to translate it while I've been reading it here. It's just, you just look at what it says and look at the text and the examples and figure it out yourself. Anyway, though, thanks for watching today, everyone, and take care now.